Fancy a Ford Ranger Wildtrak, Toyota Hilux Rogue, or Isuzu D-Max Blade, but want something bigger, bolder, brawnier, and bluer? Behold, the Ram 1500 Rebel. No, not an AMC Rambler Rebel from the Mad Men era, but a full-size American pickup aimed at younger and or more adventurous buyers. My name is Byron Mathioudakis for CarsGuide.com.au, trying very hard not to make a rebel yell or rebel pun. Anyway, let's go. Now, this isn't a replacement for the bombastic TRX, which sadly has disappeared but may come back sometime in the future, but rather a variation of the base Laramie Sport, except that it's a little bit racier and sportier in design. Like all 1500s, as well as a conceptually similar Ford F-150, Chevrolet Silverado 1500 and Toyota Tundra, the Rebel is fully assembled in the United States in left-hand drive guise, but is remanufactured in Melbourne for right-hand drive. In this case, the Ram boasts hundreds of new or modified parts and needs over 80 man-hours of labour in the process. Hence the high prices, with the Rebel matching the Laramie Sport at around 150k plus on-road. More than just the sticker pack, the Australian Rebel includes 1-inch higher riding suspension, Bilstein shockers, 32-inch all-terrain tyres, locking rear differential, additional underbody protection, a higher payload, special off-road cruise control, and a so-called power bulge bonnet. Though there's no extra performance under there, sadly, over the Laramie Sport's existing SST straight-six twin-turbo. For that, you'll need the circa 170k limited flagship with its high-output SST engine tune. Like the Laramie Sport, the Rebel is pretty sumptuously equipped and includes goodies like 19-speaker Harman Kardon audio, a dual-pane sunroof, heated seats front and rear, dual wireless phone charging, a sliding back window, and a powered tailgate. There's also a decent wad of advanced driver assist safety systems like autonomous emergency braking and adaptive cruise control. But it also loses some interior items too, like vented front seats, a sliding center console, and a reclining rear bench, which might have Rebel owners cry out for more. Anyway, there are also a few things missing outside too that are otherwise standard in the Laramie Sport, so let's check those out. Essentially, this is a Laramie Sport with a few changes to make it look a bit more athletic, including this new grille treatment, some DRL lights there, more blacked out trim, 18 rather than 20-inch wheels on tyres which are more off-road capable. It's also had a 1-inch lift in the tyre and wheel and suspension department, so for better off-road clearances. And if you work your way to the back here, you lose the Ram box cargo storage that that other models have as standard in Australia, but the plus side is that you get more cargo capacity inside there, so that's a good thing. And also the side steps are not available on this car. However, you do get this lift step here in order to access this larger cargo area. Other than that, it's pretty much as you would expect there you go. It's pretty much as you'd expect a Ram 1500. There have been some changes inside as well, so let's check those out. Now, this is as much an interior review as an exterior and driving assessment, because almost 50 parts have been changed or altered that make it unique compared to the American version, as well as the hundreds of other items that have been modified in order to make this a left to right hand drive proposition. This is essentially a Laramie Sport inside, which means that it continues with a 14.4-inch touchscreen, a 12-inch driver display, as well as a display in front of the passenger, which can't be seen by the driver for safety reasons. It still remains a very, very roomy proposition up front, with like endless storage, including this massive, what would I call it, skip in here. Great seats, excellent vision, amazing rear vision from these massive mirrors, as well as a very, I would say, premium finish to the way this thing is presented. Now, because it's remade in Melbourne, I think they go an extra mile in order to make it a more upmarket look, and it shows. I mean, there's no real nasty plastics, even though this is an American vehicle, and it's well designed, and I'd say that there's almost a European aesthetic, which reflects the Stellantis influence, and Stellantis, of course, being the French and Italian owners of this company. What else? There's not much to say. All the controls are in the right position, but the only thing that I would comment is that you could almost fit a bench seat in here and turn it into a 6-seater, and that would have been a unique selling proposition for the Ram, but apparently that's not possible due to it not being crash tested. But imagine how amazing this would be if this was like a big old bench. Anyway, speaking of big old benches, let's check out the back seat. As you'd expect, it's massive back here. You get loads of storage underneath, more so than you do in a medium-sized ute like the Ranger. And of course, more leg room, as we've been reminded, than say a Holden Caprice. There's absolute space to lounge. The angle of the backrest is actually quite comfortable. You get headrests that fold forwards so you don't lose vision. And the usual amenities such as a couple of USB-C and USB-A ports here, heated seats, face or rather knee level ventilation, mat pockets, overhead lighting, a coat hook, the dual pane sunroof which really brightens up the back seat, cup holders of course in the center armrest, and one of my favorite items, a rear sliding window, so you can I don't know, I'm not sure why you possibly yell out things to people behind you to move out the way or something. It's really spacious back here. And of course, so is the massive tub out back. For now, Australia only receives the 5-foot 7-inch or 1.7 metre long tub rather than the longer 6-foot 1-inch option offered in earlier 1500s. The Rebel's payload jumps 30 kilograms and still maintains its 4.5 tonne towing capacity. Note that, with the deletion of the Rambox cargo storage units, load area width does increase, but only by 15mm, and you do lose 210 litres of hidden tub storage. Okay, underneath this power bulge bonnet is what Ram calls the SST engine, which is the straight 6 twin turbo 3-litre inline 6-cylinder petrol engine. So no Hemi V8 sadly. But is it such a sad thing? Yes, the old 5.7-litre V8 burble and effortless low-down grunt are gone, but instead the Hurricane 3-litre SST delivers 7.5% more power and 14% more torque. So, with a superior power to weight ratio, the result is a quicker 0 to 100 time at around 6 seconds flat. And remember, this is the standard output engine. The limited HO shaves another half second or so off that. Driving all four wheels is an 8-speed torque converter auto that Ram evocatively calls Torque-a-Flight, memories of the old Aussie Chrysler Valiant here. As with all 1500s, there are wishbones up front and a rear axle featuring a coil sprung rather than leaf spring setup, which segs nicely into how the Rebel drives. Roll the tape. This is my first time behind the wheel of the Hurricane engined Ram 1500, and I've got to say that I was a little bit skeptical because I'm a huge fan of the old Hemi V8, which was a defining trait of previous Rams. But in the spirit of Ford's Barra engine and other inline sixes that have become legendary, this is one of the greats. It really is. It certainly has enough power and torque. I mean, 635 Newton meters of the stuff. pulling what is essentially not that heavy a ute, given that it's only 2.6 tonne. It's a very muscular and rapid vehicle. I mean, you put your foot down and the 8-speed torque converter auto leaps off the mark and just maintains the power. It just piles on. It's a very fast truck and also an enjoyable one. It doesn't make the V8 sound, granted, but it certainly has the muscle and also just the response that you want from a full-size truck. It's also smooth and it sounds good enough for me. And I think of, I mean, the Silverado still has a V8, and a V8 may come back to the Ram, but as an alternative to those engines, this inline-six, this twin-turbo inline-six, certainly delivers the goods. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying driving this car. Now, as per the previous Ram 1500, the DT Series 1, the DT Series 2 is also the most civilised to drive. The steering feels beautifully weighted and it's nicely reactive. It turns in crisply and it makes you feel connected to the driving experience in a surprisingly good way, given that this is a full-size truck. Now, this is on all-terrain tyres that we went off-roading on earlier, and considering that they're made, you know, for that sort of thing, on road they walk a nice balance between comfort and grip. We're driving on very wet roads here in Gippsland here in Victoria, and it's fine. It feels controlled and reassured and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really nice truck to drive. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that of the American big trucks, this continues to be the best one to drive. Certainly the most civilized and refined. In sport mode, it certainly responds a little bit faster. And note that it does turn off some of the traction controls. So that caught me by surprise. I'm not sure whether you can play around in the menus to change that, but yeah, just be wary. In auto, it's fine. It certainly performs the way you would expect it, and more importantly, it performs the way it looks. In that, it's the sportiest and the most driver involved of all three trucks. I like the ride quality. It's supple enough. There's not too much road noise coming through, given the knobbly tyres, and the traction control systems, or rather the driver assist systems, aren't that interfering compared to, say, other vehicles. So that's another bonus. Overall, it actually drives better than it looks, and you can't really say that about most utes. And given this is kind of the Ranger Wildtrak of full-size trucks, I think it also behaves in a way that you might expect a Ranger Wildtrak type ute to, in that it's involving and enjoyable from behind the wheel. Downsides? Well, it's still a large lumbering truck to drive. I mean, out on these country roads, it's fine, but around town, you feel the girth and the length of this thing. There's quite a bit of wind noise coming through from these large mirrors. I think that's an inevitable thing, again, considering the size of this truck. And there is a bit of road noise coming through as well. But that also has to do with the fact that the sunroof cover is open to let the light in, so you can see my face more clearly. I'm sorry about that. That's on-road. We also had a brief off-road stint in the Rebel at the ex-Holden Proving Ground at Lang Lang, and we were pretty impressed with the ability and ease demonstrated over some short but demanding rough track sections. We doubt at nearly 150k that most buyers will go bush bashing in this, but it's good to know that the hardware is there underneath to get you through. And speaking of having deep pockets, Ram says the Rebel returns a combined average of just under 11 litres per 100 kilometres. That's a small improvement over the Hemi V8's 12.2 litres, but steering performance rather than economy are the priorities here according to Ram. And what about the Rebel's safety priorities? Neither ANCAP nor Euro NCAP crash test full-sized American utes at this stage, but the 1500 has scored a 5-star result in the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration rankings. Keep in mind too that the Rebel shares the Laramie Sport and Limited's advanced driver assist systems, ushering safety like autonomous emergency braking, lane support tech, rear cross traffic alert and blind spot monitoring. You can read more about the Rebel's safety in my full launch review at carsguide.com.au. Ram, however, does drop the ball when it comes to warranty. That's because it only offers a 3-year, 100,000 kilometre warranty with roadside assistance, which falls short of rival Ford F-150 and Toyota Tundra's 5-year unlimited kilometre coverage. Service intervals are at every 12 months or 12,000 kilometres, and there is currently no cap price servicing on offer. So, you may not get quite as much peace of mind with the Ram as you do with some other utes, but I tell you what, it remains one of our favourite full-sized American pickups on the market today, because the Rebel combines better off-road capability without losing any of the regular Ram's refinement, civility, driver enjoyment and overall comfort. Don't forget, you can read the full review at carsguide.com.au, and as always, thanks for watching.